What is up, guys? How's it going? Ryan here, back with you again for another episode of the Morning Coffee, episode 36 for Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. Hopefully, your guys' weekend was good. Mine was pretty good. Got to catch up with some friends and stuff like that. We have actually some pretty good news today. A lot of just random little articles, but we're going to start off the podcast with probably the biggest thing that has happened this weekend. But besides that, of course, we have a few announcements. Remember, if you guys are coming from the Twitch streams or any of the other streaming services or YouTube, remember to check us out on Spotify and iTunes. If you ever want an audio link to our podcast, you can check that out in the episode description down below. Also, just this isn't going to be a thing, but this might be something that's posted for the next like 2 to 3 episodes or whatever. We do have a new podcast out. You heard that right. It is a new podcast. It is called No Content Podcast. It is with somebody that I do my usual podcast, Deep Thoughts, with as well. So if you guys wanted to go check that out as well, I'm going to leave the link to that podcast down below. For you guys who haven't ventured out and listened to any other podcast from myself, this one is a duo podcast. So I do have like a host / co-host, whatever you want to call it. We see each other as equal, but co-host. There is no script or show notes or anything like that. It's way less structured, and it's literally just me and him shooting the crap for about 40 minutes to an hour on any topic that really comes to mind, whether it be stuff that we've gone through during the week, whether it be stuff we've been thinking about and stuff like that. We just kind of shoot the crap for about an hour or so and just kind of chill and hang out and also record it. So because of that, it's been getting a lot of good reception and stuff like that. We are on episode 2. Currently, we are planning to record an episode sometime this week as well. Usually, the goal is for that podcast to be released on Saturday. So the same day that we stream it on my Twitch, it may not be uploaded that same day. So keep that in mind. But the plan is right now that we are uploading those episodes on Saturday. So that's No Content Podcast. If you guys want to go check that out, I will leave the link to that in your episode description, show notes, whatever you want to call it, down below as well. So please go and check that out. Like I said, 2 episodes so far. That being said, though, let us jump right into the news. So the first article of the day, which I said was kind of the biggest news or the most major news to come out of this weekend, was we did have TwitchCon Berlin. We had a special episode of the Deep Thoughts podcast. That is my Twitch-only podcast, where we talked in great detail and links about TwitchCon, just in general, what we thought of the event and stuff like that. But this is just going to cover, once again, the stuff that was released for Twitch. I think it's pretty big deal. Twitch is a pretty big thing in the gaming space, and live streaming and content creation, what I'm doing as well, is pretty big in the gaming space. So it'd be kind of weird to just kind of ignore just this elephant in the room that we're talking about. So this is definitely something that we're going to be going over. I just want to preference this by saying there is not that big of news stuff coming. It's a lot of quality of life changes. Almost all of these, I want to say 90% of these changes will not be coming until June. So keep that in mind as well, that we are a couple of months away from these type of changes. When usually they announce something, they let everyone know, and then they start trickling these features out. Maybe it'll be earlier, we'll see, but as of right now, Twitch has said that these features will be coming out in June. If you guys recall, on our last talks about Twitch, at least TwitchCon in San Jose, there was 3, kind of points they wanted to make, and that was grow, connect, and thrive. So they kind of broke down their keynote in that. So in about an hour, they covered a bunch of stuff. So first of all, they announced improved searching. Basically, they said that this is a multi-year effort, and that updates for this will be starting, of course, in June and get better throughout the year. Pretty easy kind of thing to go over. Essentially, it is just what you think it is: improved search. It reminds me of pretty much YouTube search, where it kind of like while you're typing things in, it will show you channels that you wanted to look at, live channels, games, etc. And lists them in certain categorical ways. The way that they put this was that guy put Rocket, and the first one was Rocket League, which is online, and then a bunch of other random streamers. It also asked if you meant this or that, and it auto-filled for that person's search. So essentially, it reminds me of just how a YouTube search works and stuff like that. I'm assuming it will log what you search as well, as long as you are logged in to your Twitch account, so that you can start getting improved searching, etc. Next up is they also announced directory sorting. This is pretty cool. They said right now the directory, as you guys know, the directory is what they call a game category. So if you go to League of Legends or Hearthstone or Fortnite or Apex or whatever that is, they, those directories or games are sorted by highest to lowest viewership, right? So the most viewed person will be on top. If you have 0 viewers, you're all the way down to the bottom of the list. They've decided to add more options, which is nice. You can sort this by viewers, high to low, viewers, low to high, recommended for you, which I'm assuming is depending on who you click, and also what you've been searching and stuff, and then recently started streams as well. I think that this is a great change. I don't know if it will change or increase viewership for a lot of people, but either way, I think that this is really good. For me personally, I like to host lower viewed streams, or maybe even streams that are just starting and stuff like that. I follow a lot of people in various games, and maybe they just recently started their stream, and I can just look that up and see who's recently just started and kind of just throw them a host to bump them initially for the start of the stream, which will be really nice. There's no details about this, so we don't know what a recently started stream means, if that means 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? We don't know if it's 15 or under or anything like that. We'll have to see when we get some more details about this feature. I also do like the viewers low to high as well. I think it's a really cool feature that helps out a lot of the lower streams and stuff like that. But I think it's great for when, once again, I host somebody or raid somebody. It has been annoying to start scrolling down through the thousands, hundreds of thousands, who knows, people that are streaming a certain game and having to get down to those viewers. And I usually don't settle on someone with no viewership. I usually settle with somebody with 20 or 30 viewers, right? So it's great to see this type of feature being implemented for sure, where we are able to just kind of quickly utilize this. I don't know how much I'll be actually realistically using directory sorting. It is a nice feature though, something that I'll definitely be using for when I'm trying to look for someone to host or something like that. I don't really browse a lot of streams anymore outside of the people that I currently follow. What I would love for this directory sorting to go to the followers tab, on the channels that I'm following currently, because I do follow, a multitude of channels, and it would be nice to be able to, sort my follower list by recently started, viewers low to high, etc. I think that would be a great feature. I'm assuming it's probably going to be coming sometime in the future, though. That is also coming out in June. Next up, they have a thing called recaps, and it basically says that highlights are a great way for new viewers to get introduced to a creator, and we want to make creating them even easier. So this June, we'll be rolling out new recap features that generate automated highlights at the end of a stream. We're launching recaps using data from clips, and over time, we'll look at additional signals to make them even smarter. You can share them with one click or make edits to get them just right. So this feature I'm really liking already. If you guys don't know, we do highlight the channel a lot. Pretty much essentially what a highlight is we can take portions of a Twitch VOD and say start from here, end from here, and boom. That's how we also get the VODs up, or the episodes out on Twitch. And then we take that audio, we export it to Audacity, we also export that to YouTube. So I do a lot of highlighting for sure. Essentially what recaps are is it's just a new way to highlight. Basically every single time your stream is done, it will automatically make a highlight that is going to quote unquote recap that stream. So here's the recap of April 16th, 2019 for Ryan Kubo. And here's the original broadcast if you want to check it out. Like I said, though, this is launching in June. They also said that it is only using data from clips at the moment. I'm not really sure how else they would utilize that feature, but yeah, it is something where it is only going to be used for clips. So this might be a feature where if you don't have a lot of viewership, or I sometimes have a decent amount of viewers, some people just don't clip anything. So it might be one of those things as well where we just don't clip a lot of stuff as well in your community, and you might not get a recap every single time. Be interesting to see what ends up happening with this, because they said that there's going to be other ways they're going to utilize this. And I think that's going to be really interesting to see the future of this. Just to keep in mind, though, when a recap does happen, you'll be notified on your Twitch dashboard. You then can look at it edit it in your highlighter or in the Twitch editor program that's on the website, and then publish it. So once again, this isn't something that's automatically going to be posted because it is an algorithm. You know, it might be something really embarrassing or something bad that you did on stream that got clipped and got a ton of clips at that moment in time, and you may not necessarily want to utilize that. But overall, I think that you know, it's a great way to create highlights and stuff like that and kind of post them on Twitter. Be like, hey, this is what you missed out on stream, is really fun. Here's a recap of kind of like the best moments and stuff like that. You know, so I really enjoy that. I hope that it works out well. I'm hoping that streamers utilize this feature for sure. Like I said, it has to be something that has to, every single time you're done streaming, if a recap is made, it's going to have to be published. And I can see by the creator, and I can see a lot of creators just not doing that, right? Not being like okay, cool, like I don't want to scrub through a 15-minute video and then approve or deny that. So that is also a thing as well. We'll end up seeing how it is utilized and how it goes. But overall, I'm pretty excited for this feature. We'll see how this feature turns out as well. Once again, it'll be out in June as well. Next up, they just kind of announced that there's more formats of Twitch Rivals. Over 120 new events are coming, and yeah, if you want to see what's being announced or what's coming out for Twitch Rivals, you can go to rivals.twitch.tv.com. So, yeah. Next up, they kind of talked about Connect very briefly. Twitch Sings is available for everyone. You can download it on PC like right now. You can go to twitch.tv/sings. To check that out. That is their karaoke game that they've come out with that works through the Twitch app, and you can also stream and get notifications still and all that stuff through the app. So it has about 1,500 songs right now. The catalog is definitely really huge, and yeah, it is officially launched, so you can go and check that out right now. Next up, they announced that bounty boards are coming in May for countries in the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, and select affiliates. They said only about 1,500 creators are in the program right now. If you guys don't know what bounty boards are, probably most of you have never seen it, but it is a thing on your dashboard where you have a thing called bounty boards where companies can directly send you advertisements or send you like sponsored hashtag ad type of stuff right through the dashboard and pay you directly, whether that be play Apex Legends for this long or watch this ad and stuff like that. And they do have some varying limitations to it, and their payouts are, you know, the payouts go through your affiliate or partner you know, payout system as well. But they do have some limitations, like you need to, you know, have X amount of concurrent viewers for, you know, an hour or two or something like that, an average of this much or that much while you're streaming this bounty, or you may not get anything, or you may only get a chunk of what is offered. So in the example they show here, it says stream Apex Legends for 1 hour, $88. They said that they will give you a game key, and it says at any point during the stream session, during a stream session, stream Apex Legends for 1 hour straight with an average of X concurrent viewers. They obviously don't tell you with this one exactly. If you don't hit the average, you'll get a proportional percentage of the payout, right? So if you don't hit 100 viewer average, you might get less than the $88 or whatever. And it says no needless bad mouthing of the content, and be sure to engage with the content in your community. It says add hashtag sponsored to your stream title. Store the past broadcast, and bounties are held in queue for a maximum of 5 days. They will expire sooner if the broader bounty campaign is ending. So you can start a bounty and not necessarily have to immediately do it right when the bounty starts, but you have about 5 days to be able to get the bounty done and stuff. This is a really cool feature. I'm hoping that they push this out. Right now, it's mostly exclusively to partners and certain affiliates, but apparently they are expanding this to France, Germany, and United Kingdom. It's only 1,500 streamers right now who have this feature. You probably know some of the big streamers have it and stuff like that, but I mean, overall, this is very small portion of the community that even has this. So, you know, I'm not very surprised, you know, that most people haven't heard of this. Last off, they have basically net 15 payouts, which basically means that previously payouts were made 45 days after you hit the $100 threshold. Nowadays, it is 15 days after the end of the month, as long as they meet the $100 threshold. So you will get paid a little bit faster in a sense, but it's going to kind of average out to the same, but it's going to be kind of more consistent, at least, of when you get your pay. So for example, it is April 16th right now. So like for my payment, it would take a little bit longer, but let's say it was April 14th and I have hit the $100 threshold. Basically, from what this is saying or whatever, I would have to wait until the end of the month. And then at the end of the month, Twitch would say, hey, he's earned at least $100. And then 15 days from there, I would get paid, right? But now that it's April 16th, let's say I hit the $100 threshold now, I'll have to wait. I'll still have to wait until the end of the month. So a lot of it has to do just with like if I was April 1st and I got I got my $100, I would have to wait until the end of the month, which is 30 days essentially, right? And then have to wait 15 days after that to get my payment. So it's a little bit more consistent of when you're getting your payment, but I think it will average out to like the same time of length, but it's less like chaotic because beforehand it was 45 days schedule. Now it is a 15-day net 15 payout. So overall, it's a great thing to do. But yeah, that is really it for all of the TwitchCon EU news. Take a drink of water here. Overall, nothing super major that we have here from for you guys. But it is a lot of quality of life changes. Like I said, the improved search, directory sorting, recaps, are all going to be, I think those are the three most things that are going to be used by a majority of people. They will be available in June or later. And if you guys are interested, Twitch Sings is out currently now, is basically, and the Net 15 Pay is out now. So, but the top three features that they kind of focus on will be out in June. So it's going to take a little bit longer for that. My predictions, as always, for TwitchCon were bad. I didn't hit the mark on anything. I'm still theorizing a bunch of stuff, but one of the things that I'm still thinking about is affiliates have been, there's been rumors and talks all the time, and it's not really a rumor, but it's basically says it on the affiliate page that the ability to run ads is coming soon. And we don't really know what that means, if we're going to have full control like partners do when it comes to running ads, or if we're not going to have full control. So with that being said, it will be very interesting to see what ends up happening and stuff like that when it comes to ad-free viewing and stuff like that. We'll have to see what ends up, what the future of that ends up being. But my prediction that they were going to announce that there is totally not right, as always, but that's kind of my go-to bet now at this point in time. Anyway, let us move on. So next up, we have an article from Polygon, but it's about the new Jedi game, Star Wars game. But Jedi Fallen Order is a single-player story game, says the Respawn founder. If you guys didn't know, there was a 5-hour stream at the Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. But you can go to the timestamp from what, according to the article, says is 5 hours, 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Of course, this article is linked in your show notes, but you can check out when they talked about it. They said Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is strictly a single-player game and it will have no microtransactions. This is what the founder of Respawn Entertainment said during the stream, etc. We haven't really seen any gameplay footage about it or whatever, but it looks like it will be really, 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 really cool. And hopefully it's going to be a really solid game. There's high hopes for this game. Respawn Entertainment, if you don't know who they are the people who have recently released Apex. They also released Titanfall, etc. So hopefully this game ends up being like really cool. They said that it will, let's see, it says that it will come out around the time of the new Star Wars film, the 9th and final film of the series. And also they said that it will be out for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One when it does launch. So, yeah, we'll give you more news about that. I mean, that's really just like a little teaser. There really is not that much news at all. Next up, we have an article about the Nintendo Switch. I mostly put this in here because I have a Switch, and it's something that is near and dear to my heart. But the 8.0 update is out for it, where you are able to basically finally sort out your software, as well as allow transferring of save data which is super, super good and super, super nice. So if you guys didn't know you weren't able to transfer your data for your Nintendo Switch beforehand, you are able to now. But the data will be deleted from the old device when it is transferred to the new device. So it is obviously a cut and paste, not a copy paste type of thing. But we do have the feature now, which is super, super nice. So hopefully you guys enjoy that update as much as I do. Next up, we have a new Forza game coming, and this is something that I'm like kind of sad about, but it is coming, but it is free to play, but it's for PC and mobile. So Microsoft has released a free to play Forza game on Windows 10, and it will be available on iOS and Android later this year. As such, Forza Street will be the first entry in the series to hit platforms other than PC or Xbox. And Forza Street, which is a somewhat retooled version of a game called Miami Street, you can take part in races that last less than a minute or delve into a longer campaign. You'll collect cars as you progress, and there are Xbox Live achievements. They said that the team designed Forza Street with simplified timing-based controls to make it easy to hop into a race. You'll need to hold down a button or a finger on your phone screen. It would seem to accelerate and release the brake. You can tap your second button to activate boost once you earn them. It's not the most complex. So basically, there's just like one button you just like press to go faster and let go to not go faster, and it kind of like automatically brakes. And then there's boosts and stuff like that. It's really sad, man. Like, I really love the Forza series, and I'm not a street racing type of person like at all or whatever. And it's just kind of sad to see like what's happened with just like Forza and games in general because of like microtransactions or whatever. Yeah, it does seem pretty microtransaction heavy and stuff like that. So yeah, play it at your own will. But I just kind of wanted to make a PSA about this and kind of use it as a backdrop to complain about microtransaction games and just the state of microtransaction-y type of stuff in general. But yeah, that is out. We'll let you know if anything is updated with this game as well. Second to last article, something that we kind of wanted to talk about, but Nintendo's retiring president, Reggie, is retiring or whatever after 15 years. If you guys didn't know, there was a pretty big meme where he was talking about, where pretty much like the new guy that took over him was called Doug Bowser or whatever, but he became the president and CEO or COO of Nintendo. He was pretty much the number one dude who was doing the announcements and trailers and all that stuff. But he has opened a personal Twitter if you guys want to kind of see what he is going to be doing like in the future, which we kind of have like no idea like what that might be or whatever. So we will see like what ends up happening with that as well, and seeing like how it ends up going or whatever. But he has opened up his own like Twitter feed or whatever, which ends up being at Reggie or whatever, with as of this recording of the podcast too, has 326,000 followers at this point or whatever, and I don't know what he's gonna do with it. Basically, his like Twitter has just been like retiring photos and stuff like that, and like memeing of just like all this type of stuff, like his badge from E3 of 2004, and like him wearing like a me head or something like that as well. So I don't really know like what the plan is, but it looks like an interesting Twitter so far. Maybe he'll update us with like other life adventures that he's going on. Next up, though, we do have the final article, and this is something that kind of came out like last minute this morning, so we don't really have much news about this, but Sony has revealed their first PlayStation 5 details. This was something that we talked about like a while ago, that Sony wouldn't be making an appearance at E3, right? That they would be not making an appearance this year because they wanted to focus on just producing and focusing development on the PlayStation 5. But they said that the new, I guess, PlayStation will have a solid state drive and backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4. It seems that it might be available in 2020, which is the reason why they're kind of holding off this year, at least talk about or show it or tease it at the next E3. Obviously, it's going to be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. Obviously, it's going to have better specs than the previous PlayStation or whatever. And they said that basically it would take less than 1 second when they were given a game like Spider-Man, the 2018 PS4 exclusive. It would take less than a second to render everything on it. Apparently, it's using the AMD chip from the Ryzen line and contains 8 cores of the company's new 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture. So we'll end up seeing, they say audio improvements is something that's really big and a focus for whatever. And they're avoiding calling it the PlayStation 5, instead preferring to call it the next gen console. So the PlayStation was released in 2013, 7 years after the launch of the PlayStation 3. So we're kind of looking at like a 7 to 8 year extent, time period when it comes to generations of consoles. So it's not surprising per se that the next generation of consoles is coming out, around this time or around like 2020 or 2021. Anyway, guys, that is it for this episode of The Morning Coffee. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out and chilling with me today. As always, before we go, like I mentioned at the top of this show, but you can follow us on Spotify or iTunes. You can also check me out on Twitch, Twitter, or Instagram at Ryan Kubo. You can also check us out on YouTube if you ever want to check out the VODs of this episode at SHIGEOS Twitch TV. And once again, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, we do have a new podcast that is currently out, so you guys can go check that out as well. The link to the No Content podcast will be in the episode description below. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will check you guys out on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day and week, guys. Peace.